Hi, my name is Brian Baldwin, and I'm a solution engineer on Esri's education team, and I'm also a volunteer with the Mappers with the ALS Geospatial Hub. And I'm here to talk about June 2nd, which is coming up shortly, and that's Lou Gehrig's Day. In my household, Lou Gehrig's name was synonymous with a couple things for me growing up. It was synonymous with ALS. For me, and I think many of us at that time, 15, 20, 30 years ago, Lou Gehrig's disease was how we came to know and knew what ALS was. And it was also synonymous with tears in my house whenever my dad watched Pride of the Yankees and cried in the afternoon as a lifelong Yankees fan. But Lou Gehrig was so much more than just old man tears on the couch and ALS. He had an amazing life and work ethic. And the story map that was put together by my friends Pat Dolan and Will Hackney presents an amazing picture for who he was. And on this Lou Gehrig's Day, I invite you to go explore it and take a look at and discover for yourself who he was. Lou Gehrig grew up with a very tough life in poor working class New York. And the story map pulls in some great images and photos and maps to walk you through what life was like for him and his family at that time. He ended up growing up next to the Polo Grounds, which were the home of the New York Giants at the time. And he was actually a huge New York Giants fan who would come to be probably the biggest opponents of the Yankees years later when he played for the Yankees. He ended up getting a scholarship to Columbia for both baseball and football. And shortly thereafter, he ended up joining the Yankees. The one thing about Lou Gehrig's life which you really take away from the story map is he didn't have bombast. He was hardworking, he was modest, and he was incredibly grateful. And some of the stories that are depicted through the story map are really powerful in just kind of connecting who this actual person was, more than just the name that's synonymous with ALS. Lou Gehrig ended up appearing in 2,130 consecutive baseball games, which was a record that was held for dozens of years until it was broken by Cal Ripken Jr. And the only reason that record was broken was simply because Lou Gehrig simply couldn't play anymore because of the disease. A couple of the other things that I took away from this story map that are so powerful is how openly Lou Gehrig spoke of at the time integration with baseball. Because at the time there was the Negro Leagues and there was the MLB, which were separate. And Lou Gehrig saw that there was a place to integrate both those leagues and have baseball be the national sport for everyone. One of the other takeaways from this that I enjoyed was that Lou Gehrig was the first athlete to appear on a Wheaties box. So this June 2nd, please take the time to go explore this story map, learn a little bit more about who the person was behind the name. He wasn't just the name of this disease. He was an incredible individual who was cut short very early on at only 37 years old by this terrible disease. And also the thing that is very powerful to take away from this story map is sadly not a lot has changed. It's been over 80 years, and the speed and tenacity of this disease is still cutting down people just as quickly as it did in Lou Gehrig's time. Roughly 3 to 5 years, people end up dying after a diagnosis on average. So please go and explore the story map and see Lou's life and legacy. Also, we'd invite you to go explore some of the links and additional maps and applications that are listed on the bottom of the story map. And there's ways for you to reach out and engage with your legislators. There's ways for you to help be an advocate for funding and for policy changes that impact, millions of people. One of the other things you can do on the bottom of the story map is if you know of someone or if you are living with ALS, we have a clinic advisor survey so that you can help fill that out to inform care and guide care for others that are living with this disease or others that are caring for those living with this disease. So with that, thank you so much. On this June 2nd, please go explore this story map so you can learn a bit more about Lou Gehrig and also help work to end this terrible disease for those that have been impacted by it. Thank you.